There we go. All right, welcome to the April 8th Select Board meeting. We have the largest crowd we've ever had in this room, so we're going to slide all the appointments to the end of the meeting. I like having an audience. No. So thank you all for attending tonight. We're going to start with a few announcements. First announcement we have is Millis Beautification Day is Saturday, April 27th, 9 to noon. Rain or shine, please sign up, register early, get your waivers, and it'll start at Town Hall. 9 to noon, millislionsclub.org/events is where the registration forms can be found. So again, rain or shine, Saturday, April 27th, 9 to noon. Next item I have for announcements are town elections. Millis Beautification Day. Annual town meeting will be held on May 7th, and at 7:30? 7:30 at the school. That's a Tuesday night. That's a difference from typical. We usually go Monday nights, but this will be on Tuesday night. And then town elections are on 5/13. That runs from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m., I believe. So we have those coming up. So those are important items, and let's just go forward.
There's information on the town website as well about that.
Okay.
Page and anyone wants to look at.
Yeah, in this town meeting and town elections, there will be a lot of important issues on the ballot, so I encourage everybody to attend both. All right, next we have a Complete Streets Grant update, and that's Bob. He'll be about 30 minutes, then we'll get to the rest.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bob Weiss, Town Planner, Economic Development Director. This board already knows about some of this because you've signed the first part of the agreement. But on behalf of the Economic Development Committee and the core group of Complete Streets, which was staff and committee members, including Nicole Riley from the Economic Development Committee, Amanda Borgman, Chief Sophia, Chief Barrett, and our DPW Director, Jim McKay. Millis has received $433,125 in Complete Streets funding from Mass DOT. And I really wanted to thank the Complete Streets Core Committee for its diligence, its persistence through all those meetings and the analysis of over 20 projects. And this award is going to allow us to invest hard cost funding that's involved in 5 Complete Streets projects for streets and intersections and sidewalks. Generally, we're going to be making the streets safer for pedestrians, and for bicyclists, and for folks in wheelchairs, scooters, and for cars. And it will certainly improve our handicap accessibility. The engineering costs, of course, we'll have to come up with, but Jim McKay has managed to take care of most of that already, and the rest, the balance of which we will be able to find in some of the existing funding. So we just wanted to make sure that we gave most of the credit to the Economic Development Committee, to the core group, and also to this board, which signed the Complete Streets policy in 2022. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Do we go to the appointments, or do we do the flag?
We can go straight to the appointments, I think.
Okay, good. All right, let me get to the appointments. So I'm going to start with the chief.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So tonight's a big night for us. Over the past 10 months, our department has experienced significant changes within the department. We had a sergeant that retired after being out for several years, and we had an officer transfer to another department. Considering the developments and the movement, I request your thoughtful consideration for the following appointments. It is important to note these appointments relate to existing vacant positions within our department and do not involve new positions or hiring at this point in time. I'd also be remiss without saying I'm proud that our police department has welcomed several highly experienced officers to our team over the last several years. This accomplishment is a testament to the unwavering commitment and dedication demonstrated by our officers who are all in the back. They've all played an instrumental role in shaping our police department into the organization that it is today. I recognize that for tenured officers leaving a long-standing career to embark on a new journey is not an easy feat by any stretch of the imagination, and we're grateful for their willingness for them to join our team. I think the count is up to 6 or 7 now with 10-plus years' experience that have come over. Our department's success is reflective of the positive culture we've cultivated, in addition to the continued support that we receive from our local government and the community. We're confident that the 2 officers tonight that we're introducing are exceptional candidates who will maintain a high standards of our department and outstanding service to our residents. So, at this point in time, I'd like to invite up Officer Michelle Manganello and Officer Alves. Michelle Manganello has dedicated 20 years of exemplary service as a police officer to the town of Medfield. Her experience in patrol is extensive, and she brings a wealth of knowledge to the job and the profession. Officer Manganello also holds a master's degree from Curry College. Her background is multifaceted, encompassing a diverse range of roles within her previous department. The roles include detective, school resource officer, field training officer, court prosecutor, and evidence property manager. Each of these positions have provided her with unique insights and skills that make her an outstanding candidate for the position. Her advanced education combined with her varied experience positions her as an exceptional candidate for this position. Officer Austin Alves began his role as a full-time police officer with the Rochester Police Department in 2021. He holds a bachelor's degree from the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth, and is working towards his master's degree currently. Working towards his master's degree, obviously demonstrating his commitment to continuous learning and professional development. Officer Alves has also served in various roles within his previous department, including acting sergeant, field training officer, fleet manager, social media coordinator. This diverse experience highlights his multifaceted skill set and ability to take on different jobs within law enforcement. Our department is deeply committed to delivering exceptional service to our community. Both candidates, Officer Michelle Manganello and Officer Austin Alves, possess qualities and skills that would greatly benefit our department and the community. I wholeheartedly endorse the appointment of Michelle Manganello and Austin Alves as full-time patrol officers pending the successful completion of background, physical, and psychological screening. I appreciate the board's consideration for allowing this appointment to happen now because, to be quite honest with you, the end of May would just be too far away. So we're on target. Several of those things have been completed, but all points will be completed by the end of next week for both candidates.
Great. Mr. Chairman, upon the recommendation of the Chief of Police, I recommend that the board ratify my appointment of Michelle Manganello and Austin Alves as full-time patrol officers pending successful completion of a comprehensive background investigation, physical, psychological evaluation, and drug screening.
I move that the board ratify the town administrator's appointment of Michelle Manganello and Austin Alves as full-time patrol officers pending successful completion of a comprehensive background investigation, physical, psychological evaluation, and drug screening.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to ratify the town administrator's appointment. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed unanimously.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Moving on. So we began the sergeant's promotional process several months ago. It commenced with a written examination in February. Candidates that successfully passed that written examination moved on to an assessment center, and then the final stage of the process was an oral board interview. As a result of the process, 3 exceptional candidates are being recommended for the position of sergeant. At this point in time, I'd like to invite up Officer Roy, Officer Smith, and Detective Gonzalez. Officer Roy has built a distinguished career in law enforcement. He started back in 2015 and advanced to the position of sergeant at an area police department where he served for a period of 4 years. In July 21, Officer Roy then transferred to the Millis Police Department and assumed the role of patrol officer. His professional background is marked by extensive experience in training programs and grant writing, showcasing his expertise in these critical areas of law enforcement. Officer Smith has been a member of the police department since 1994. He's served this community for over 30 years and has been the OIC of everybody in the police department, including myself. Throughout this time, he's consistently exhibited exceptional dedication and commitment to upholding the town's values. Notably, for the past 2 decades, Officer Smith has fulfilled the role of the late shift supervisor, effectively managing critical responsibilities and contributing to the safety and security of our community. Detective Gonzalez has dedicated 11 years to his successful career in law enforcement as well. He began serving at the Smithfield Police Department and transitioned to the Millis Police Department 8 years ago. During his time at the Millis Police Department, Detective Gonzalez has displayed versatility by taking on various roles, including patrol officer, detective, firearms licensing supervisor, and evidence room officer. His contributions extend beyond traditional law enforcement duties, as he's also played a key role in integrating several technology-based applications within the department, enhancing our overall operational efficiency. I formally recommend Officer Colby Roy, Officer Paul Smith, and Detective Jason Gonzalez for the promotion to police sergeant. These individuals have consistently demonstrated exceptional leadership qualities that make them well-suited for this role. Officer Colby Roy has shown exemplary dedication to leading by example, ensuring his actions align with our department's expectations. Officer Paul Smith has consistently fostered a strong teamwork mentality, encouraging collaboration and unity within the department. Officer Jason Gonzalez is deeply committed to serving the department and the community, going above and beyond to ensure the safety and well-being of those around him. I firmly believe that promoting these individuals to sergeant would greatly benefit the department and enhance our overall effectiveness.
Mr. Chairman, upon the recommendation of the Chief of Police, I'm recommending that the board ratify the promotion and appointment of Officer Colby Roy, Officer Paul Smith, and Officer Jason Gonzalez to the position of Sergeant.
My turn. I move that the board ratify the town administrator's promotion and appointment of Officer Colby Roy, Officer Paul Smith, and Officer Jason Gonzalez to the position of sergeant.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to authorize the town administrator to ratify the town administrator's promotion to the office of sergeant for these three. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Excellent.
Passed unanimously.
At this point in time, I'd like to invite up Sergeant Roy, Sergeant Smith, and Sergeant Gonzalez's family to pin them.
Oh.
I think we should. Slow down.
Our official town photographer.
She wears many hats.
All right, you guys get together for a minute with your family so I can take a group photo.
Duck under the table.
How was that?
Just hide behind that. I think we're good. Solid bunch.
All right.
You didn't need your pants after all. Did that come out right? Congratulations. Congratulations. Good luck to you.
Congratulations. Excellent, excellent. Congratulations, congratulations. Sorry.
Town clerk. At this point, could we have the town clerk swear them in,
Yes.
please?
Lisa, is she here? Yes,
She is, I saw her
There,
back.
I didn't see her.
I get this one.
This is a better one. Do you want me to do them each separately or all together? Do you have all together? All right.
You're going to repeat after me, except when I pause, you're going to say your own name.
They have to hold their hand up, Lisa.
Yep. Now you got the hand. I
Jason Gonzalez. I, Colby Roy.
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution and laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts,
and the Constitution and laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts,
the bylaws of the town of Millis,
the bylaws of the town of Millis,
and the rules, regulations, and all lawful directives of the Millis Police Department.
and the rules and regulations and all lawful orders of the police department.
And that I will perform the duties
And that I perform the duties
incumbent upon me as a police sergeant
incumbent upon me as a police sergeant
of the town of Millis
of the town of Millis,
in good faith and to the best of my ability.
in good faith and to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So,
Chief, do you want a group picture? Yeah.
Sure.
Want to hold?
Thank you. Yes. I think we're gonna have to go outside, like, we
I
gotta,
was gonna say, you got too many to come in here, I think.
we'll go outside.
Oh, no?
We can take
All
a
right.
brief recess while we do that.
Okay.
Okay. Are you guys gonna be in the picture?
Well, you put pants on. I think we should.
That's gonna need some explaining.
Go outside.
All right, come on, we're gonna take a brief recess, we'll be back. All right, see you in a minute.
I think it's
Okay, so you can go to the appointment of the Community Preservation Committee at large.
Okay, we have an appointment for a member of the Community Preservation Committee. This is an at-large appointment, and we have an application in here for Jessica Monti. Do we have any?
That is the, yeah, it's right in there, so
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. So, she applied for the Community Preservation Committee and is recommended by the Community Preservation Committee. Her career, she talks a little bit about her career in commercial
Yeah.
insurance, et cetera. It's an at-large member, so this is a one-year appointment. It'll be appointed, and then she will get renewed
Okay,
in June.
I met her at the meeting. She was great, very personable, very interesting.
that's what I'm looking for, an endorsement.
I'm sorry, I'm like, she's fabulous.
Both of us can endorse.
Yes, yes.
And I'm feeling really good about this appointment.
Okay, we ready?
Yes.
I move that the board appoint Jessica Monti as an at-large member of the Community Preservation Committee pending completion of the Conflict of Interest training and sworn in by the town clerk.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to appoint Jessica Monti to the CPC. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed unanimously. All right.
I can do mine now.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Mr. Chairman. So the first, we're going to do a little background. If you remember, about 10 years ago, when the library was being built, we brought down the monument that was for Vietnam and Korean veterans, and we placed it out front in front of the town hall. It was always supposed to be out there. It was always drawn up to be that way. And then, so then we added for any wars after the Vietnam War. So we have the three monuments that are in place now. And as part of that design, we always wanted to do honor each service with a flagpole and a flag on it. And like anything in Millis, it takes 10 years to finally get something done. This year, we do plan on, and hopefully getting it in before Memorial Day, is adding 6 more flags for each service and put a flag on it. I did speak to both the veterans, and they're all in favor of this. They're very much in favor of this. And John is, he's in favor of it also, and actually he's paying for it. So, and I think you have the quote in front of you for that. And the DPW staff will install the flags. And again, hopefully we will have them. And the reason why you have to prove it, it's town property. We just can't go around and just put up things without your approval. So I think you have a little drawing. I don't know if Karen put that little thing in there. It's
I didn't share the drawing this one,
it's John did that. John Moore did that.
Basically, it looks like this. So it would be 3 flagpoles on
On each
either
side.
side, because said for each branch of the military.
Can we talk about what the flags, what branches
Sure.
they're going to represent?
So, yeah,
Yep, we're going to have Marines, Navy, and they're going to make me forget one.
Green, Navy,
I hope so.
Army.
Army,
Coast Guard.
Air Force, Coast Guard,
Air
and the
Force.
air space.
Yeah, and the new airspace.
Oh, the space
Space,
program, right?
space program, yes.
Wow.
Awesome.
Give us a nice symmetry of 6.
Yes,
I like
it
that.
did work out well.
And the cords will be inside the poles.
They're gonna be
so
inside
They
the
won't be
pole.
flapping around and break. So that's exciting.
Any
Okay.
questions from the board?
Nice.
We stumped him on name the services.
Yeah.
Yep, no, I had it all written down.
Okay, you ready? Yep. I move that the board approves the request to purchase 6 military flags and flag poles to be installed in front of the Veterans Memorial Building as specified.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed unanimously.
Now, we're going to keep on the same area. If you remember, if you're facing the building, if you're facing what is the front doors and the monuments to the left-hand side, we used to have trees there. If you all remember, like 5 or 6 years ago, and they were always decorated, always nicely decorated, but storms have taken them down. So Harrison McPhee, Scott McPhee's here with us, and he's just going to get up briefly and tell you what he's going to install. He's always been a very good friend to the town of Millis with his programs. Him and his wife have always volunteered to come and demonstrate to kids. They had a big class back in last Arbor Day, and they had all the kids from the Clyde Brown out. And if you look at all the trees out in front of the property, he does that every year and maintains them, and he's done that for the past couple of years. of trimming them. I mean, that big tree that's sitting out there, if you didn't trim that, that would have been, we would have lost that a long time ago. So, you know, Scott, over a couple of years, we've been asking something, not asking, but he actually came up with an idea of putting, and Scott, why don't you come up and just tell him what you're going to plant, so I don't mess it up.
Thanks, Jim. Hi, I'm Scott McPhee. Yeah, the fire chief had asked us to help put up the holiday lights on the big tree by the street and then the smaller ones. So he said, gee, it would be nice if we had a designated holiday lighting tree. And then when the parade goes by, maybe there's a tree lighting. So we're thinking, oh, that would be a nice thing to give to the town for future generations. So we were happy to donate approximately like a 14 to 16 foot tall Norway spruce. So it's kind of your traditional, you know, pyramidal evergreen that people typically will decorate for the holiday season. So we would buy and purchase and plant the tree and then take care of the tree. So I think that's just as important. You know, just fertilize any insect problems or whatever. They're usually pretty bulletproof, so I don't think that's going to be a, you know, if for some reason 20 years from now we aren't here and we're not taking care of it, it's not something that's going to require a lot of maintenance and be a sort of a hazard or a liability for the town. So that's kind of the plan. We would plant it. We'd like to do it on Arbor Day. Arbor Day is the last Saturday in April, but we were hoping to do it on Friday. That's sort of when our tree care associations do their Arbor Day. So we're going to do that and then do some, also do some pruning at the library and do some pruning at the town hall and plant the tree at the same time. So that's sort of
Not just it. I mean, this is a big deal. I mean, you can see by the price of you know, their donation, and it shouldn't go unnoticed, because this has been a couple of years. And if you remember, the tree's going to go exactly, if you remember where the other one was, I don't know if it was the same type of tree, but it's going to go in the same spot. We have electricity over there, so it's going to go in that same general vicinity, close to the mailbox, in that area where the mailbox is, because it's more visible there.
All right.
So again, you need to approve, because it is public property.
Yes.
Scott, do you have a shop in town?
I do.
Yeah, where?
Right across from the Black Cow.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I
Yeah,
thought
in
that
front of
was
Midway
you.
Lumber.
Just a little plug here for,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Let's give back, people. You need trees, go to Scott McPhee. How's that?
You could do that.
You should not get into advertising.
I shouldn't do that.
No, not advertising. But thank you for that.
Okay, scratch that. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. I move that the board accept the gift from Harrison McPhee, Inc. of a Norway spruce, including labor, equipment, and materials to be planted on Arbor Day on the grounds of the Veterans Memorial Building.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
Scott.
Scott Fusey, 411 Union. I just want to thank Harrison McPhee. I was here when he did the Christmas lights.
Oh, yeah.
Great business, and thank you for your generous donation to the town. It means a lot, so thank you.
Yeah, thanks. And you helped us too.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
What do we got?
We got capital planning.
So now, yes, back to capital planning. I think that's where we are.
Back on order, thank goodness. Okay.
Almost on time, as a matter of fact,
Yeah.
despite the shenanigans.
All right, good evening, everyone. Oops. So I was very excited when I got here, and there's like 50 people. And
I
like,
know,
finally,
that's what we
capital
said.
planning has hit the big time, and then they all left.
It drew a
So,
crowd, but no.
I don't know what to say.
Broader audience.
All right, well, thanks for having me here tonight. This is my semi-annual visit to the Select Board. So we've put together, our capital planning committee has been meeting over the last several months, and we've put together our recommendations for the Select Board to consider as you're going through your decisions on the warrant for potential capital items. So hopefully you've all gotten the report I shared over the last week or so. So through this cycle, we reviewed 8 different projects that are listed on the back. This one here, we've got a fire car rather, a replacement car. some safety equipment for the DPW, some portable radios for the fire department, which actually is a joint purchase with Bellingham, and they're getting quite a bit of that subsidized through grant funding. And then 2 related items for the schools, which is a server and a switches, 2 different items that really kind of go together. For the library, we had some exterior repairs, and then a couple others were a boom lift for the town buildings and a skid steer for the school. So that was in the order of which we ranked them in priority level. So those first 5 were the highest priorities, the fire car through the switches and servers. Medium priority was the library repairs, and then the lower priorities were the boom lift and the skid steer. And as I've often noted, that's not to say these aren't important items or they're not items the town doesn't need, but our committee just goes through a process where we've got a set of criteria by which we try to rank them so that different committees and departments can have a way of sort of assessing one versus the other. So that was the end result of our deliberations. Those total roughly $445,000 between all of those. Highest one's about $290,000, library $35,000, and then the lower priorities about $120,000. I'd say generally we were pretty well in agreement on those. Some were probably a little bit on the line of whether it was high or medium, but I think the committee was largely in agreement on where we landed with those different items. I'll pause there, and just any questions on the items themselves. I do want to talk a little bit about the longer-term plan as well, but
I have an advantage of sitting on the committee, so
Okay,
I
yeah,
have
I
no
don't have any
questions.
questions.
some would call that a disadvantage, but you do.
This moment, it's the advantage, and that's one of the few that I have from sitting on the committee.
Yeah, no questions.
No questions? All right, perfect. The other thing we try to do is keep track of all of the capital needs of the town as best as we can over the next 10-plus years. So that's been sort of an ongoing living document where that list is getting updated every 6 months or so. So we've done that again, updated the list. There is one significant item we've added to the list as a result of the progress that's been made on the school renovation, potential school renovation project. And that did add a significant item to our list. So we did have a placeholder based on a very, very old study that was done for the school for some renovations. That was about it was somewhere between $20 and $25 million that we had for that. Based on what our understanding of the most recent discussions about a week or so ago, I know there's a wide range of potential outcomes for the school project, and there's questions as to how much would be reimbursed by the state. But where we landed was sort of trying to get something in the middle that we thought was a reasonable number for purposes of this report and sharing it with the town, which was a $140 million project, of which the state and the MSBA would reimburse 35% of that. So that net was $90 million. So we basically removed the, call it $25 million item, probably closer to 20 really, $20 million item, and we've replaced it with a $90 million item. So net, our total went up by about $75 million, which is obviously significant. That puts our total capital items on our list to about $150 million, where it was roughly 80 million or so before. So that is a big change on our report. Obviously, folks are becoming aware more and more of the school, the school renovation project potential. So we wanted to make sure we captured that as best we could in our documents too. Obviously, that will, we'll refine that over the time as more and more decisions get made on that project. I think that's mainly what I wanted to cover. But any other questions on our report?
I'd like to point out a couple things that came up while we were there. Currently, in that 115 million, we're carrying 16 million for a senior center still.
Oh.
So, and we can't remove, that can be removed, but it can't be removed by that committee. It can be removed by the select board. If we formally say that that's on hold for now, that's not something we're planning to do, there's no imminent plans for it, we could take that off the list as a $16 million potential need. I'm in favor of doing that. I don't know how the rest of the committee feels about that.
Well, I never thought that it was on the list.
It is on the list, yeah.
So the fact that you want to take it off is okay with me.
Yeah, that's
There are
fine.
no immediate plans for that, or particularly for that number. If something comes, it's going to become a completely different proposal.
Right, and that's why we would
Right.
put in a proposal when we get it. All right, so I think we need a motion that's not written down to
Oh, my
remove that.
God.
Best kind.
Do you want me to write down quick?
Flashcards would be good. I make a motion that we remove the item on the capital planning's list in the amount of $16 million for a senior center.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to remove the senior center from the capital list. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed unanimously. Do you want to make
All
that
right,
change?
great. So, yeah, so we can make that change. I'm
16 million.
speaking with these, so yes, I'll take this down to 137 million roughly. So I'm good at math, so I can do that quickly in my head. I'm speaking with the Finance Committee on Wednesday, so I will let them know that that's been done, and we'll adjust our report to reflect that. This will get published in the Finance Committee, their book that they put out for the town meeting, so there's still time to do that. So we'll get that over to them.
And I will point out there's one item, there's two items on here that are lowest priorities, the lower priorities. Get the right words. The lower
Lowers,
priorities.
keyword.
And the first 6 items on there, there's pretty much unanimity on the importance of. They scored high enough to be either the highest or the medium level. These bottom 2, really a lot of debate on whether they're need to have or want to have. And we're approaching a point where it's going to be more and more difficult for us as a town to fund the like-to-haves.
Which ones are you talking about?
I'm talking about the lift and the
skid steer?
skid steer. So I would like to consider, we can talk about this as we get into the warrant, but we have John here. I think it's worth getting his feedback on this too. I'd like to consider deferring those, the lower priority items, putting the money into free cash, or stabilization rather, so we have it as the big bills for Tri-County start coming due in the future. Just trying to find a way to fund that without needing an override on that immediately. So that's my thought. There are two of the lower priority items, and it was a pretty clear drop between the medium and those. It was, again, if we had unlimited funds and we were in a great environment, I'd say, go ahead and spend it. But we're facing a $350,000 bill for Tri-County next year that we're trying to cover, and additional $350,000. So I'm just trying to find options that we have. I'm interested in your feedback on that idea.
Can I just get a history on who recommended these and when?
Yeah.
What do you got?
Go ahead. Well, I mean, I don't remember the exact date. The skid steer has come up a few times from the school department over the last 3 years, maybe. It's been on there, two or 3 years anyways.
They were talking about it when we built the Clyde Brown. They wanted it included in the
Yeah, okay,
base
so even
budget.
longer. I think it finally showed up on our radar maybe 3 years ago or so. The boom lift is
Do you know
more.
what they want to use it for? I know
A
it's
few
skid steer.
things, yeah. So some of it is plowing. They can put a plow on the front of it, and it can do certain areas if there is snow. And then also for lifting, like, heavy, boxes of paper and things like that they would get delivered to the school. So, yeah, we weren't convinced as a committee that this was to your point, a must-have. It certainly would make people's life easier in certain ways, but it
Does
wasn't
the
a must-have.
school have their own plows other than that?
I think
does
that
that
Mr.
work?
McKay plows the lots, and they have snow blowers, from what I understand, for the walkways.
I
Yeah.
believe that the skid steer would be for areas that a regular plow would have difficulty accessing.
Does the DPW have a skid steer?
Several of them.
Several.
That was another point that we discussed on the committee.
Yeah.
That there might be some collaboration, that if this is deferred, we might be able to find some way to collaborate
Share?
on something. Yes.
So I have a question on the boom lift. I know, so if we were to contract out all the work that we would need the boom lift for,
Which would be what?
It's getting up to high areas, doing repairs on the building, for example,
Like
that are
this
high
building?
up, hanging
that's
banners
for this
across the
building.
street.
Or for
Well, for
any
any
building,
building
it's
in town.
For
townwide.
all buildings, so it would be used for any exterior use that you need to get elevation for, and be for all the town and school buildings
Putting
as
up
well as
decorations?
Putting up the Christmas lights, putting up
Yep.
banners across the street.
Washing
Didn't
windows,
McPhee just say he
repairing
was gonna
lights.
do that?
Well,
putting up lights, putting up any installations on the outside of buildings, certain tree work. Also, this
Cleaning
came
gutters,
up, this
that kind
came
of
up
thing.
in the form of a bucket truck a number of years ago, and which was much more expensive, and that was dropped. And the technology has changed, and looking at these types of new aerial boom lifts, we felt that this would meet most of the needs that the town has. Is it absolutely critical? No.
I
It'd
don't
be
know.
very useful.
Can we ask Mr. McKay, what's your feeling on this?
Yeah, and I'm
On
not saying
both
these
of them.
things
Yeah,
aren't, I'm not saying these
No,
things
I
aren't
know.
important,
It's
it's
just-
just that.
Have we ever had one?
Jim and I have both requested this for the past, I don't know, many years, but again, it's,
So as Mike stated, it would replace the bucket truck. The
You
idea
have a
of,
bucket
we
truck?
don't have a bucket
No.
truck. We had one
it
that was,
died ages ago.
And then we've requested one in the past. but
Right.
It was more than twice as expensive.
and what this would be able to do, and Mike, Scott could have told you, I mean,
Yeah.
tree-wise, people use them now to cut trees down.
Yep.
And we don't have the ability, the scissor lift, if you remember the scissor lift, that's indoors, that cannot be used for outdoors.
Okay.
So this has an extended boom that you would put it out in the parking lot, it could, the one that we looked
Place
at
lights.
can reach to the roof, it's got a bucket, and people can actually stand in it, wash the windows, cut trees down, and
So what do
replace.
we do now? Do we
We
rent
hire,
one?
we don't.
We
And
hire
we do
people.
rent one, the DPW does rent one.
We've also decided to hire outside contractors to do the work, as opposed to doing it ourselves, because we don't have
We
the
can't do it
necessary equipment
ourselves.
to do it ourselves.
So,
If we had one, do we have the manpower?
Of course. I mean, it would be the school
Okay.
custodians would use it, DPW.
Is this really the
Fire.
cost, 52.9?
Yeah, yeah.
It seems so cheap to me.
it is, well,
You can ask your brother, he'll tell you exactly what it is and
Yeah.
and the need of them. I mean, they're.
I know what,
Yeah.
and just to
Yeah,
add,
I
this
know.
is, like, I didn't, and I guess we said, but the bucket truck is far more money, which is why
Oh,
we
yeah.
started originally asking for the bucket truck years ago, and it was just ridiculous amounts of money.
I mean, back in the
So this,
day,
we kind
the
of got to this,
Edison,
which would be a,
Boston Edison donated them to towns when they were done with
Yeah.
them, and. that's
and
the
we
last
borrowed
we
one
had.
from Medway for a while, and I
They
believe
don't
theirs
have it.
doesn't work anymore either. So we're kind of down
Maybe we
to,
could, if we got one, we could rent it to Medway.
there you go.
Just thinking outside the box here.
Yeah.
I like it.
Have you added, I mean, do you rent one enough in a year that it would pass the $50,000
I
mark?
would say not in a year, but,
One year.
but over.
5
a
years,
period of
10 years?
A couple of years, yeah.
Again, I think it's the availability of having it,
Yeah.
just like.
Do you think it's low priority?
No, not in this day of the complaints of trees being needed to be trimmed
I-
and stuff, and
yeah.
cut down.
I'm inclined on the skid steer, since you have a couple, and I don't know why they would
So the
want to
skid
take.
steer, let me just, and John's
Go
not
ahead.
here, we use our skid steers right away during the snowstorm. He also has to get stuff
I
done
know, I
at the same
remember
time.
this
Yeah.
story now.
And they use one of ours during the summer when needed, they can borrow one anytime they can, if they want, because we do, I'm not gonna say we do have several of them that,
Right.
maybe there is something that I could talk to David about, that if they, I know they rent one for the winter, but maybe it's something we can look at, so.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Not for
I-
nothing, how many times did you use it this summer?
That's luckily.
I mean, I hate
Yeah.
to.
No,
I
you're right.
know.
Yeah.
And I don't want to
Yeah.
speak for Mr. Engler, but certainly, it's my understanding that, if they don't get one now, they will simply rent one for a period of time over the winter
Okay, I
to do
got
what
it.
they have to do. And they'll continue to do that until, or if there's a time where they can
Okay.
get one, they can purchase one.
What's your thought, Craig?
My thought is I'm more worried about the things that I know that are going to come up and hit us, the 350,000 for the Tri-County schools,
Okay.
the other things, and trying to save on items that would be very nice to have and certainly
Yeah.
put to use. I'm trying to weigh that against the known fact that I've got a $350,000 bill coming down.
Yeah, and I would add, just to add to that, that's the purpose of the committee. It's not really to say, buy this, don't buy this. It's to
Right.
say, if you've got resources of X, this is the order we would suggest you use them. Again, I think there's lots of good uses for an aerial boom lift from what we've heard from Karen and others. It's just, those other things come first, and there may be other things, to Craig's point, So this is just to help you guys, kind of make those decisions. It's not to
I'm
say
on
it's-
board with that then.
And we can reconsider, we'll have free cash by November, we can
That's what I
reconsider
was
at
gonna
the
say.
November town meeting if we have a windfall.
Yes.
But I just want to, I'm just trying to be a little more frugal now as we enter into the great unknown with Tri-County construction costs. Or the
Okay.
great known of 300,000 plus for the construction, yeah. All right.
That's fair.
Okay, if there's no questions, no further questions, we'll address this as we get into the
Warrant.
warrant discussion.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
It's
Thank
a
you all.
committee to serve
Good to
on.
see you.
I'm making my plug for
It is
next
a-
year. So
Yes.
one of you should
And
step on that committee.
Yes, we will probably swap you out. I will also say, we do have an opening on the committee, so if you've got any friends looking to join, let me know.
If we have
On the
any,
upside, we meet by Zoom, so it's not.
Do meet by Zoom.
It's not a
That is
difficult meeting to make.
true.
You can have dinner while you meet if you turn the camera off. So,
Yeah, all right. Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
thank you.
Thank you, John.
and John runs a good meeting, so go quick.
He does.
I know he does, because he's the energy guy.
Energy guy.
All right, let's move on to our next popular topic.
And this is not a very popular topic.
Not at all.
Not at all.
No.
And it's, so right now, we're in pretty good, in a good place right now for our water ban. I know there's a lot of stuff that was sent to you to read, and so this is going to be a temporary approval that you approve every single year because you have to institute the watering ban because there are fines associated with it. And if you remember, our permit was up in 2010, around thereabouts, and here we are, 14 years later, and the DEP finally got around to Millis to impose their new water ban, new water permit. It's very stringent. They took away, not a lot of things, but they lowered our availability to pump water out of our 6 producing wells because they're so low. But even with the new development, so almost every time with another huge development, if we exceed or get to that point, just like the Charles River on paper, we'll have to go back to them and ask them permission. They'll give it to us, but it's going to be a process. This, and we will post this, once it's approved, we will post this on the website. It's way too long and very confusing to get into, what we're going to do and implement. But I can tell you right now, people are going to say, well, why are we putting in a water ban in with all the rain we've had? And if you read the first thing, it says May 1st through June 30th, when the Charles River at the Medway gauge drops below 170 cubic feet. We're nowhere near that. It's up in the 500s, 600s. So none of this goes into effect until that happens.
Okay.
It could happen quickly. But as each one of these stages goes, I mean, I can tell you, this is a big problem for us for revenue projections in the water department. Last year, we had a very wet, and people did not use their irrigation systems. And if we all know that, there were no irrigation separate meters in Millis. So if people have sewer, they turn on their irrigation system, they're paying for water and sewer. Whether it's good or bad, we can discuss that all in another time. So with the low consumption that we had last year, I can guarantee you that will affect not just the PFAS plants and all the other work for a sizable increase. It's because of the consumption's way down from last year. And as these stages go in, and we will have to start enforcing them because they make you, show that you're enforcing these. So we will go around and start finding them once they get in place. This is a temporary thing. We negotiated, our consultant from Kleinfeld negotiated with us, with the DEP, to get an extension. This was supposed to be at this Maytown meeting. There's going to be a bylaw change, because most of this is going to have to be put into a bylaw, because it's already in there, and it's going to be a change of a bylaw. So they did give us we'll be able to do it in November. I just felt that at this meeting, this isn't the time to get everybody even more riled up about their irrigation system, because it's going to affect private wells also. And there's just, there's going to have to be a lot of discussion on that issue. So I would ask the board, the town administrator's been involved in this discussion with us, with our consultant, that you implement this as written, and we will, once it goes into effect May 1st, and then we'll post it and implement it.
But it only goes into effect if these things are met.
If it drops below
Right.
that 170 and then that 90, and you can
Got
see
it.
it, yes.
And Mr. Chair, I just wanted to add, and Jim and I, well, we'll see whatever you write up, but
Yeah.
when we put it on the website, we will make sure that people understand, or hopefully try to make people understand this is not something that's just happening. It's,
It's
if it
mandated.
exceeds these,
Yep,
right,
yep.
because those will be the first questions we'll get.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
I move that the board approve the 2024 outdoor watering restrictions as presented.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to approve the watering restrictions. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll see you at next meeting.
Thanks. The warrant.
The warrant.
So, Mr. Chairman, the board, as part of your packet, does have the updated draft of the annual town meeting warrant. There have been no substantive changes to that draft since your last meeting. The warrant has been reviewed and approved as to form by town council. I think that the motions for the annual town meeting are also included, and those have been reviewed and approved as to form by town council as well. So there is one development that's occurred since the board's last meeting, and that is a request from Millis Youth Baseball for town funding towards the purchase and installation of new batting cages. There's materials in your packet. They are requesting the addition of an article of $9,000 to fund a portion of that item. And I believe a representative of Millis Youth Baseball was going to come in this evening. Yep, to talk a little bit about the proposal, and then the board could consider whether or not you'd want to submit it at this time as part of the warrant.
Hi, everyone. Thanks
Do
for...
you want to open the warrant first, or no?
Oh,
no,
sorry.
no?
Yes, so yeah.
Yeah, is there a motion to open the discussion of the warrant or something?
Is there?
I don't know.
There
Yes.
is.
I don't know,
We
I'm,
just said it led me to
I'm
believe
trying to
there was
read
one.
ahead, but this is what I get.
I moved it forward, yeah.
I move that the board open the May 7, 2024 annual town meeting warrant.
Second.
Thank
So
you.
moved and seconded to open the town meeting warrant. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The warrant is now open. Now we
you.
go.
Thank you for your consideration. I'm
keep
Mike
you on
Carter.
stress.
I'm the president of Millis Youth Baseball. And we're coming to you today to consider replacing our current batting cages that are located right outside the Sisto Memorial Field. We call it our Majors Field colloquially because that's the level of the kids that play there. The batting cages are facing multiple safety and functional deficiencies, and it's getting to the point now where it's sort of dangerous. We're worried about it. Among some of the issues are the nets don't have any real slack away from the pipes, so they're up against the pipes, which creates a lot of ricochets. And we've had multiple coaches get hit with essentially a line drive, even though they're behind an L screen. There's pipes that are bent, falling off, couplings that we've needed to replace multiple times. You can see in the packet that there are some pictures of the current state of the batting cages. We did just put the nets up again this year, and we're hoping that this would be the last time we have to do that. There's also poor drainage and frequent flooding, so there's a lot of times where we can't even use it. These cages are used by us, of course, Millis Youth Baseball, but also softball, the varsity softball team as well before their games. And, you know, it's a public space. We want people to use it, so there's many other people that use it, and there's no way to control this access to this space. So, you know, it just makes us very nervous. It is beyond adequate at this point. It's not even. It's barely usable. So our proposed solution, we've looked at some quotes, and actually I printed out this for you guys too.
Thank you.
I only have 4 copies. Oh, maybe I only have 3. I don't know.
That's okay, thank you.
Thank you.
It's okay, we can share. I just gotta put it in the minutes.
So we want to completely replace the existing structure. The Mastodon is the one that we've sort of looked at. It's obviously got a great name, but we found that other systems that are of lesser quality don't really warrant the price tag. So this is slightly more expensive than most of the other ones out there, but it seems to be the best possible solution for us. It does, the quote that you have in front of you right now is for almost $24,000. There's a couple things in that quote that I want to note. First of all is the shipping cost of $4,500. That's something we are looking to try and get other quotes for and minimize that cost, find other ways that we can get that material cheaper. And the thing that's not in that quote is the install, which is roughly $4,000 by the On Deck Sports company that we've worked with in the past for other equipment. So we're looking around $20,000 to $25,000. We mentioned here the self-installation. We have a lot of guys on the board, thankfully, that are very handy, unlike myself. And even they were like, we don't really want to have to install this. These posts are very, very heavy. So we're hoping to get it professionally installed. So we're looking closer to that $25,000 number. We would like new L screens without holes in them. This also comes with new nets. So the way the funding looks like right now, we understand that we're going to take the brunt of the funds as an organization, and we're hoping that the town will provide $9,000. Millis Youth Softball is already considering helping us out because of their usage of that too. They meet tomorrow, so I don't have a firm answer on that $5,000 yet. Tresca Brothers has already agreed to provide the concrete and crushed stone for the base. And we will still, as a board members, provide some equipment and labor in at least putting up the nets. The reason why this system is far superior than what we have now, you can see in the picture of the Mastodon, it's providing a lot of slack. There's no posts for the balls to hit off of and ricochet off of. It also allows us to slide the nets all the way back and rope them off for times where we may not want the system being used. We still expect to fully remove the nets for the winter and not leave them up for the elements, but at least it gives us that option to slide the nets down those cables. So I believe that's everything I have planned for you guys today. So that's what we're asking for.
All right. Questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have some questions, and this is probably dumb, but this is Millis Youth Baseball and Millis Youth Softball. Is that different than sports with the high school?
With the school, yes, yeah.
Completely different programs.
Correct.
So they don't get to use it?
No, they actually, so they do. Because of the proximity to the varsity softball field, the varsity softball team does warm up there on game days inside the batting cage. We're rarely, youth baseball and softball are rarely there that close to dismissal. It's usually the high school gets out first, so they're already warming up in the cages. By the time the Clyde Brown kids get out, which is our biggest population, we pretty much, I mean, we service up through 7th grade, but for the most part, we're dealing with K through 6 players. So they do use it. They don't use it enough to really ask the schools for anything here.
Okay.
But it is, we do find that this space is used frequently, and mostly by youth baseball, so that's why we understand that we would take on the bigger burden.
Okay, and then you mentioned that there's poor drainage and frequent flooding. How are you going to take care of that?
Yeah, we're hoping with Tresca Brothers, they will allow us to do a whole concrete pad like you see in the Mastodon picture.
You don't have that now?
It should be on the one that says Mastodon underneath it.
Oh, yeah.
That's a full concrete pad. I imagine that would be very expensive and very timely, but if we could at least, there are 2 concrete pads theoretically for kids to hit off of. They're actually too small for players to properly swing the bat and not roll their ankle by falling off the concrete pad. So we would like a bigger concrete pad, maybe not the entire thing, and then crushed stone the rest of the way. We have recently, thankfully due to a donation, have been able to line it with that field turf, which is something we'd look into doing after we get the foundation squared away again. So leveled, crushed stone, and a wider concrete base might solve that problem.
And can I ask the existing one, how old is that?
I don't even have a guess for you. I mean, I've been in the town for, I've been in the town for at least 15 years, and it's definitely older than that.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's all I got.
Okay, I have a few questions.
Sure.
First off, it's kind of late in the game for this to come in.
Understand,
And
yeah.
that is a bit of a concern. And
Yep.
you guys had the advantage of hearing us talking about trying to squirrel away any money we can for future huge expenses that are
Sure.
coming down the pike. But if we don't have town resources to contribute, do you have funds available for this? Or can you raise those funds through fees?
We are in the process of trying to raise the funds through fundraising programs. Fees, it would be a big ask to increase the fees by that much in order to offset our other costs already and provide enough. So your short answer, yes, we could make it work, but I imagine it would probably take us another 2 or 3 years to pull this off. That's my expectation, and that's if we have to fund it on our own, at least 2 or 3 years. And I don't know if this cage should be up there as we speak.
And my next question is probably the town administrator. Since we're buying this, do we need bids? Do we need to go through a process since we're participating in this purchase?
That's an excellent question.
There's a
If the
legality issue.
purchase,
Understand,
if the
yeah.
purchase is less than $25,000, all we have to do is solicit 3 bids. So, but because the town would only be doing a portion of it, I'd have to ask council to be sure. But at the most, we would have to at least make sure 3 bids were solicited.
Yeah, and I'm just concerned about us as a town participating with a private organization. It sets a precedent. that
Understood.
May not be a bad precedent for certain organizations, but it opens up, as you can see, concerns. And tonight is the last night we can touch the warrant.
Sure.
Oh, you're saying that this doesn't work?
I'm not sure that it works.
Okay.
And that's the problem. If this was 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
we'd be sure if it works or doesn't work.
Okay.
And I'm a little concerned about that, about our participation. This is the second year in the last 3 that we've done funding for the fields out there. One of them was clearly the drought that we participated in, so there was no issue about funding that one.
Right.
And that was clearly under our control, the process. But this crosses some gray zones with me, and
I mean,
not
at the
sure how I
same,
feel about it.
at the same token, it is like town property, you know what I mean? So it might be benefiting a private organization, but it is town property and open to the public.
Yeah, I guess what we could do is we could consider it, but the question then becomes, if it doesn't meet the legal requirements, the finance committee would have to move to dismiss.
Yeah.
Put it
When
on.
you say it's open to the public, you mean just in terms of Millis Youth Baseball or
No,
anybody?
like, from what he said, I assume if I wanted to go if I wouldn't, but if I did want to go hit some balls in the
Sure.
batting cage,
Yeah.
I
Could
suppose
we?
I could.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, we have no way to stop you anyway, but I don't think we don't intend on stopping people. It isn't our property which is true.
And Millis Youth Baseball maintains it, or is the town?
Yes,
town
we
has
maintain the
way,
field.
shape, or
That
sound of
was
field,
one of the
correct?
reasons why we asked for the help for the
Yes.
field. We do maintain the field entirely as long as
Right.
we can water it. So yes, we maintain we
Yes.
take the nets down, we put them up, and we do our best with what we can. Yeah.
But this is a batting cage. I'm assuming there's what do you call the machine that throws the ball?
A pitching machine?
Yeah.
We don't even use those, no. We typically throw ourselves.
throw
So coaches are in there with what's called an L screen. They're throwing to a
I'm
batter.
wondering what an L screen is.
And that's why, yeah, it's
No
just,
line
it's
right
just,
in the
the-
face.
it's
Hold
just the
on,
look of it
hold
now.
on.
Yep,
Start over.
totally understand.
There's no
There's no pitching machine.
pitching machine.
No, no.
Okay.
There can
so-
be. We do have power
And
out
you
there.
just don't, want to shag balls? Is that what this is about?
No, this helps for a number of things. For practices, when you have many students, you can have two batters at once. And in fact, we can put, if we get bigger screens, we can cut the nets essentially in half and have 4 kids hitting in opposite directions, of course, 2 in each cage in the middle, facing the other way. Now we're dealing with much more efficient practices, warm-ups. Yes, batting cages are there to prevent field usage. Oftentimes, the field is currently being used
Yeah,
while we're
okay.
trying to bat on there.
And what's an L screen?
L screen is just a stand-up screen that a pitcher or someone who's throwing would stand behind. There's a tall part to it that you can stand behind, and then there's a low part to it, so it looks like an L, and you can throw over that low part. But what's happening with our current setup, thank you for drawing that.
Wait while
I
I look
appreciate
at
that.
this.
It does look like an
At
L.
the stick figure.
The poles,
picture.
That's the guy throwing the ball through the L part.
It's so that you don't get beaten.
there
off
are
the melon, I think is what
approximately
it is.
6 or 8 poles on each side, so the balls are hitting off the poles and coming around to the L screen, and have done, and it happens every year, a handful of times a year. Yeah, it happens. So it's something we're definitely trying to avoid. And that's not even the biggest problem. The biggest problem is the constant maintenance of the couplings, the poles falling down, bent. You can see in the pictures, they're bent. There's even a second portion of the cage that's extended, not really used, but is still a part of the entire structural integrity of the entire place, so we can't necessarily take those down without taking the whole thing down.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I understand.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot for a batting cage.
Okay.
So just, I was going to say one more thing through the chair, and to Mike, I guess. So Millis Youth Baseball would do the purchase, so you'd be paying taxes and all of that kind of thing on this?
We are
or-
tax exempt, we are a
You are tax
nonprofit,
exempt, okay.
yeah.
So I was
Either way,
going to say,
no
so that's off,
taxes.
so that's a good thing. And then the
Right.
shipping is outrageous.
The shipping is outrageous, we're
Where's it
trying to
coming
find
from,
other
do you
ways.
know?
I think it's Texas, but don't quote me on that.
$1,000 in shipping.
Yeah, we are soliciting other quotes and other, just methods of shipping, never mind. We're trying to find ways to have them work with us. We think that the On Deck Sports, that's where they're making their money on this system, because they were trying to get us to not purchase this particular system, and they're trying to nudge us in the direction of others that may be more, have bigger profit margins for them. And
Okay.
Well, I'm open to a motion on it. Again, I'm torn with the lateness of it. That concerns me. We put a lot of consideration to other stuff, and this is last minute.
Sure.
But I do recognize the need, and you'd want it for this summer.
Ideally, we would, but I mean, at the same time, I don't want to rule this out entirely. I mean, the November meeting wouldn't be the worst thing. The fall meeting wouldn't be
Because getting
terrible
it
for
ordered,
us.
We wouldn't be able to get you the
wouldn't
money.
be-
Correct.
Spring
I
anyway.
imagine,
Spring anyway.
so, I mean,
The unit wouldn't, earliest you could order it would be the beginning of July.
right.
You wouldn't probably receive it till August.
Yeah. So this is, by all accounts, probably better for the fall, and I understand that, if that's what needs to happen.
I wouldn't mind that, because I mean, it's not going to be a difference in installation for you. You're going to miss the
No.
season
I doubt it.
either way.
Yeah,
so-
yeah.
No, and then you can figure out the shipping thing.
Correct.
And get some tools and get out there and tighten the couplings.
Sure,
I mean, if you
sure.
need- it's not-
No, thank you. We have been doing that. We've been
Do you-
doing that
do you
regularly.
have that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And I can certainly speak with the officers of the association about, getting the 3 quotes and so
Yeah.
forth.
Okay.
Just to
Just
get
make
all
sure
of it.
everything's lined up before the fall town meeting,
Hmm.
so that it could be fully installed by next, April.
Right, that's the best we could
Yeah.
expect, I think, at this point anyway, so,
Perfect.
yeah.
All right, well, then you're well on the road to an early submittal for November.
Great,
No.
okay. Thank
Which is my
you.
biggest concern. You've
Sure.
alleviated my business.
All right, thank you.
We'll add it to the folder.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As I mentioned, Mr. Chair, That was the only really matter for the board to consider, other than perhaps the capital article, if you want to make any changes to that. But otherwise, I believe the warrant is ready for approval.
Reminder to use the mic, everybody.
Oh, really? Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I would suggest we look at the capital items in the stabilization fund to see what we want to do there. Because we can put money into
Oh,
stabilization.
I would, yeah, so, yes, I agree with you about the, was it boom lift and skid steer?
Yes. Yeah, those are the two items that we were looking at, removing from the warrant. And then putting that money into stabilization on top of anything else that's available at the town.
So if the board decided to do that, you'd be reducing the amount in Article 13 by $121,000, and transferring that into the stabilization fund, which is Article 22.
And how much was available to put in? I think there was some money that was
It was
available.
about 75,000, I believe.
Yeah.
So that would bring that up closer to 200,000.
And to take money out of stabilization to pay for Tri-County, if that's what we were doing, is there,
That would require a two-thirds vote.
at town meeting?
At town
Yes.
meeting.
So timing-wise, would all that,
Well, no, that would be,
Jive?
that would be FY 20, for FY 26.
26?
Right, because
Okay.
the assessment this year is only around $26,000.
Okay.
We expect the assessment next year to be in excess of $300,000.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm just trying to build up a cushion to get through those
Mm-hmm.
few years like that and see what we have in store for us.
Can we always vote, can we, at any time, so we did put an override on the ballot for Tri-County, which failed.
There was a
Can-
debt exclusion that failed
Yep.
by a fairly close vote.
Can we at any point in time put another one on, like 3 years from now?
The board may
Anytime we
place
want.
a debt exclusion for that project on the ballot at any time during the life of the debt payments of that project.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
And we'll have a good handle on what we can afford after
Right.
a couple of years of
Yes,
this kind of a system.
yep.
And see how it works out for us. All right, so let's take a motion to remove those two items from the capital projects.
Do you want to do it, or do you want me to do it?
Do I not look sure that I can pull
You
this
look
off?
totally confident.
Ellen, you can do
You
it.
got it. You got this.
Because now I'm feeling self-conscious.
I'm sorry.
I just want to say one thing. I'm going to do this because I like it. I like this. But I think we need that boom lift. But you can put it back.
Put it on the fall.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So if you feel better, then let's make a motion to remove the skid steer and the aerial boom lift and put it back, put those funds, 68 plus 53, one with the 121?
One with the one.
Is it 121?
I believe it is.
Good job.
And put that back into
Stabilization.
stabilization fund.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to remove the skid steer and the aerial boom lift from the capital list and increase Article 22 stabilization fund by an additional $121,000. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Looking the rest of this over, I don't think there's any other items on here that have changed or need consideration. unless you-
No, I think, unless the board has any concerns, or wants to make any other changes, I believe the warrant is ready for final approval and signature.
Close it first.
Okay.
Oh, do we
What?
want to discuss the stabilization fund for just a moment?
Sure.
Yeah, just to talk about the stabilization fund, I just want to be clear we're all understanding what it is. Aaron brought it up. It takes a 2/3 majority to take money out, anytime you choose to take it out. And the total stabilization fund should be equal to 5% of the total budget.
Budget,
Right
yep.
now, we're about 200-ish thousand in excess. This will put us further in excess of that need. And if we take money out and that pulls us below 5%, we have to start paying it back. If we take money out and it doesn't pull us below 5%, we don't have to pay that money back. I think that's an important consideration that people need to be aware of, because there's a perception among some that any money that comes out of stabilization has to be paid back to stabilization.
It's only if
If
it's
it falls
under the
below
5%. Yep.
And only the amount that it falls below 5% needs to be paid back
And when you say paid back, you mean like immediately?
over the next 3 years.
Yeah,
Oh.
there's a 3-year time frame.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
So-
a pretty big window.
Yeah, so that gives us the chance, if we, for instance, with the schools, we needed the $400,000, I
Right,
believe.
right.
We were able to pay that, actually, technically, I'm not sure we had to pay back all $400,000, but still, we, doing the math now in my head, but we agreed that we'd pay it all back, and we have paid it all back, so,
Okay,
all right?
so are we closing the warrant now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I move that the board close the May 7, 2024 annual town meeting warrant.
Second.
Okay, so moved and seconded to close the warrant, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Now you have to move to approve and sign.
That's what I thought, but I was
Yes.
waiting for,
Let's make sure we say pending the changes as noted.
Yes.
I move that the board approve and sign the May 7, 2024 annual town meeting warrant pending the changes noted tonight.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to sign the town warrant, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Am I doing the next one?
So the next one is the actual election warrant.
And the one in your packet does not include the,
The actual
Override
ballot
vote?
question,
Ballot
but the ones
question?
we have for your signature immediately after the meeting do have that
Yes.
included.
correct.
Okay, so, I move that the board approve and sign the May 13, 2024 annual town election warrant as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to sign the May 13th, 2024 annual town elections warrant as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
next item.
Is there more
Oh,
stabilization?
No, that was it.
That was it? Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Okay,
I didn't read ahead there. It was on the other side of the page.
all right.
Okay.
Oh, but we do have the critical ferry house.
Oh, my God, I've been waiting all night for that.
Yeah.
That's got your name all over it, doesn't it?
I didn't even do it. I will be participating, of course, but
If you'd like to buy one of the houses that my son made for his crafts project at design
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
might need
You
it.
can win this.
Yeah.
Okay, who's talking about this?
I guess I can give a quick little blip on
Not
this
you.
if you would like.
That'd be good.
So Allison Martino, who is the leader of the 5th grade Girl Scouts troop, wrote on behalf of the Girl Scouts asking if they could display fairy houses on the front lawn of Town Hall. They have done this in a couple of years past. I think this might be the 3rd year.
Yeah, I think so.
It's always a fan favorite. It's very cute. The girls work really hard on their houses, and I think they judge them and vote on them. Erin, correct me if I'm wrong. I can't remember
I
exactly.
don't recall if they vote on them, but I do know that they're out for pictures.
Yeah, they're
and-
out for pictures and things, and so they just wanted to put them out for a week, and they were looking to place them out there from Sunday, June 2nd through Saturday, June 8th.
Okey dokes. I move that the board approve the request by Millis Girl Scouts to set up a fairy house exhibit on the Veterans Memorial Building lawn from Sunday, June 2nd through Saturday, June 8th.
Second.
Okay, we moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Like how we moved from the budget to the ferry house.
The fairy houses.
Such a balance.
I will
Everything
say,
about it.
they are absolutely adorable, and the
Everything
girls
about
work
it.
really hard on them, so it's a fun event.
Okay.
And now it's everyone's favorite, liaison updates.
Do
Ellen?
we do that before the water sewer?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
have,
Okay.
just throwing you in.
I don't have any new ones, but I forgot an old one when I was out west, the Arctic air. I had a cemetery committee meeting where they did great things. They redid their rules, which they've been working on for years, and they increased the rates. And they did a great job. Jim McKay did a whole town comparison, and we're not high, we're not the lowest anymore. We cover our costs, which we haven't. So I think that was very good.
Good.
Some
And
members-
actually, Ellen, I will just add that Jim McKay is coming to the next meeting because the board actually cannot raise the rates on their own. You guys have to approve it. Select board has to approve it. So they are requesting that the rates are changed. You will officially approve their rates.
Okay,
Just to
good.
Give you the
finish.
give you the old finish. But
Okay.
yes, that will be exciting, and it will be at the next meeting.
Good.
I can't wait.
I can't wait.
We could have fairy house demonstrations, too.
We could.
Good. There's a lot going on.
I went to two. One was the Community Preservation Committee, where we essentially talked about the two articles that are on the warrant for Oak Grove and approved those. Met the new person that we appointed tonight. And also the School Building Committee. If you haven't watched that, I would probably watch it. It's worth it. They went through a lot of different design ideas and then did throw out like rough costs, which were staggering, really. You're looking at $140, $150 million for a building that is not new, that is renovated and added onto. They did mention that the cost of Clyde Brown would be at least tripled at this point if we were doing it today. So, there's, the costs have really risen for construction. So that would be worth watching, though, if you haven't watched that meeting.
All right. I had two. I had capital planning, which I have nothing to say because we had a full presentation from our chair. But we got that ready for you. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. And then Finance Committee Wednesday last week, which they're making headway. They're working their way through the warrant. They're going to vote the last of the articles, I think, Wednesday night.
Yes, they voted to recommend all the articles, except they held several articles just to wait until the board's vote this evening. I believe the budgetary article, the override article, the capital article, and the stabilization. So those four articles they held. So they'll be taking up those articles Wednesday night.
And I'll attend again on Wednesday night.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. It's the trifecta. I can get all the nights in.
There you go.
All right.
Okay.
So next week I'll update you on my work board meeting also. That's Tuesday night.
Your what meeting?
My work meeting, my board meeting for work.
Oh.
It's Tuesday night.
Oh, wait. We get to add other meetings in because,
We can all make meetings up,
we
Craig.
can all work on that.
I mean, right? I don't even have a board, but I do
We're
now.
going to our summer camp down on Sandwich for a lovely dinner in the dining hall. All right, now the favorite part of the evening, the water and sewer commitment.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I recommend that the board approve the water and sewer commitment to the collector for March of 2024 in the amount of $1,917.24.
Okay. I move that the board approves the water sewer commitment to the collector for March 2024 in the amount of $1,917.24.
Second.
Okay, pass, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Pass unanimous. I was anticipating that.
You
Got a little
were.
ahead of myself.
You did.
All right,
Thank you.
lastly, we have,
And actually,
No,
I
one more.
recommend that the board approve the additional stormwater commitment for FY24 in the amount of $3,696.
I move that the board approves the additional stormwater commitment of FY24 in the amount of $3,696.
Second.
okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed unanimously.
Thank you.
All right, and lastly, now officially, the minutes.
I move the board approves the draft minutes of March 25, 2024 as written.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the draft minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed unanimously. And now,
Not done yet.
one more, Ellen.
Oh. I move that the board bargaining and strategy in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the government's bargaining position, and only exit executive session for the purpose of adjourning.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to enter executive session. I'll pull the board. Aaron?
Aye.
Ellen?
Aye.
Craig, yes. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh,
Millis
wait.
Media.
Yes, we did. Never mind.
Did what?
Thank you, Millis Media.
Good job.
I'm like, wait, are we really done? Yes, we did. We did just do that.